Hi everybody, it's Dr. Lori Dover coming to you from the Two Chiros, and behind the camera as usual is Dr. Jordan Biot.
Hi guys.
And we're going to talk about this today and a term that's come up in the last, several years called text neck. And you can imagine what that term means. It means having a bad neck, a bad upper back from sitting on these phones and having really bad posture. We are in a whole generation of people who use the phones all the time, and you can say it's more younger people, teenagers, but it's also young adults and adults. And if you know what I mean, they walk around like this all the time. The posture's horrible when they're on the phones. Even worse, and you know some of your young kids do this, is they get on a chair and it looks horrible. They slouch down like this and they're on the phone, or they're like this on the phone, and look what that does with my neck. Now, why is this a big deal? It's a big deal, I'm just going to put this down, because our heads weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and our heads are supposed to be sitting nicely on our necks. So if you can picture like a broom handle with a bowling ball, because bowling balls will weigh around 10 pounds, so it is supposed to balance on the top of our neck. What happens if that neck goes forward a little bit, our head goes forward a little bit, that bowling ball feels heavier. Now there's some numbers I'll throw at you. They say that for every inch forward your head goes, you add another 10 pounds of weight onto this noggin. There's other studies that have come out saying if your head is forward 15 degrees, your neck is going to feel, or your head, is going to feel like it weighs 27 pounds. If your head goes forward 30 degrees, your head feels like it's 40 pounds. 45 degrees forward, 49 pounds. So you can imagine our necks and our upper backs are used to carrying 10 to 12. They're not used to carrying 20, 30, or 40 pounds worth of weight. What does this do? It leads to neck issues, really tight neck muscles, upper back muscles. If it's left too long, it can lead to disc issues, joint issues. So, how do you know if your head is forward? Now, sometimes you're going to know it's forward because you can see it's forward. But if you really want to check, what we call, by the way, I'll go back a little bit, we call this an anterior head carriage, or forward head carriage, but we call it anterior head carriage. So how are some of the ways you can know if the head is forward? One of the things that I look at when a patient comes in to see me is a plumb line, or we look at different parts of the body and see if they line up. So if I turn to the side, what should happen when I turn to the side is the whole of my ear should be over my shoulder. Now look what happens if my head goes forward. If I draw a straight line down, this is where the line falls. Imagine if I'm forward like this. Look where that line falls. So if you can look at your loved one or your friends from the side, is the whole of their ear over their shoulder, okay? That will tell you. Now another thing you can do is what we call a wall test. So if you go up to any wall, you should be able to put your heels against your wall, your sacrum or your butt against the wall, your shoulder blades against the wall, and your head against the wall. Elbows and hands against the wall. Now, if you can't do this and your head is out like this and you're like, ugh, I can't get my head against the wall, or you can get your hand back there, that means your head is too far forward, okay? Now, another thing that comes along with what we call this anterior head carriage, nearly always you'll see the shoulders are rolled forward. This is because we're standing like this with the phone, we're walking like this with the phone. Okay, so what happens is these muscles, your pec muscles, get tight and the shoulders roll forward. What the problem with this is you'll end up pulling all these back muscles and then they get sore. And how do you know if your shoulders are rolled forward? Again, you can usually see it, but we should stand with our hands at our sides like this. Watch what happens to my hands if I roll my shoulders forward. Look what my hands end up doing. They end up here. They're supposed to be here. So that's a couple of things you can do to check, do I have that anterior head carriage, and are my shoulders rolled forward? So are there ways that you can mitigate this or maybe stop that rolling forward? One of the things you can do with your cell phone is, instead of walking like this, literally if you're standing somewhere, you're waiting, do not do this, put it up in front of you like that. So you can see if I'm like this, my head is not forward, my head is not down like this now. Another thing that I see that if you look up online and how to hold it properly is literally just take your arm, put it across your belly, and set your other arm on it like this. So you can see I'm just going to use my thumb to look through my phone. You can switch it, do this as well, okay? So just a couple of ways to hold it while you're standing waiting for things. Now, if you do have that anterior head carriage already, your shoulders are rolled forward already, What I'm going to do is just go through a couple of really simple exercises. Now there are a host of exercises, obviously. There are many. So you can try these. I'll give you 4 that you can give a shot at home with. If you think you want some more, or you want to have someone sort of train you, go to a physiotherapist or come and see one of us and we'll help you. We'll give you a whole sheet if you want them. So the first one, to stop that anterior head carriage, is what we call a chin tuck. Now, it's not bringing your head back like this. What you're doing, if your head is forward, is you're literally just pulling your neck back like that, almost creating a double chin. Now, sometimes you'll see in videos what they'll do is they'll say, put your fingers on your chin and almost push it back like this. So you can see what I'm doing is pulling my neck back like that. And that reverses this forwardness. Now you can come, pull it back and relax it, pull it back and relax it. Some people will push it back, pull it back, and hold it like that. So that sort of stops that anterior head carriage. Now, remember I talked about how the shoulders can be rolled forward, right? So stretching your pecs out, really good idea. Now, I don't have a doorway here, but picture a doorway. What you can do is this my door, and this is the frame of the door. There's a couple of different things you can do, and most of you are going to have seen these before. But having your elbow at a 90-degree angle, you can sort of put your elbow against the frame of the door and walk through the door. And you can see that stretches the pec out a little bit. Similarly, if your hand is straight or your arm is straight, you can put your hand on the edge of the door frame and walk through, and then just walk away slightly. Now this gets one part of the pec. Walk back, put your arm up a little further, walk through the door and walk away. Again, then back, arm up a little further, walk through and walk away. Because your pec has different parts to it, so if you only have your arm at one specific angle, you're only going to get one part of the pec. So that gets that anterior head carriage and a little bit of that rolling forward. Now another exercise you can do is what we call the YWL. So not YMCA, but YWL. So just standing normal, you can put your arms up like this, and then I'm going to turn around so you can see it. I'm going to pull my shoulders back, my shoulder blades, almost so that the shoulder blades are kissing. So if I do this, and then I'm going to pull the shoulder blades together like that. So that's the Y. Then what you can do is put your arms like this. There's your W, and again, pull the shoulder blades together and hold it for a second. And then L is down like this and pulling the shoulder blades together. So you can see doing the Y, W, L, and then pulling your shoulder blades together opens up the chest, stretches the pec, but it strengthens a little bit of the muscles at the back, okay? Then the third exercise, very similar to the wall one, this is called a wall angel. So this time though, don't put your heels right against the wall. So have them out a little bit, but put your butt, your sacrum against the wall, your shoulder blades against the wall, and your head against the wall. And you're going to take your hands and put your elbows and your fingers on the wall, and very slowly, keeping everything against the wall, very slowly go up and up and up and up. But when you're doing this, you have to keep your sacrum, your shoulder blades, and your head against the wall, your elbows and your fingers. And up, 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 up. Now I make this look easy because I've been doing it forever. But some people, they're so tight, they can't get even those things against the wall. If that's the case, just work on getting them against the wall. So those 4 exercises will help you with some posture, and if you can convince the kids to start doing them, it'll prevent them from walking around like this with their phones all day. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of information. There is so much more I could talk about, but I wanted to try to condense it a little bit. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Come in and see us here at Symmetrics Health. We'll help you out.